Welcome to Daily Conversation. This is Mr. K.
Eric,
Yeah, today is the 26th of June 2021, and the time now is 6:16 a.m. Well, today is our reading session, and we are going to read the book Atomic Habit. So before we get started, please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, so here we go. Yeah, so today we start from line 807, right?
hmm,
Okay.
can I start first?
Yeah, sure.
Chapter summary. The culture we live in, in determines which behaviors are attractive to us. We tend to adopt habits that are praised and approved by our culture because we have a strong desire to fit in and belong to the tribe. We tend to imitate the habits of three social groups: the close, family and friends, the many, the tribe, and the powerful, those with status and prestige. One of the most effective things we can do to build better habits is to join a culture where your desired your desired behavior is the normal behavior, and you already have some things in common with the group. The normal behavior of the tribe often overpowers the desired behavior of the individual. Most days, we'd rather be wrong with the crowd than be right by ourselves. If a behavior can get us approval, respect, and praise, we find it attractive.
Yeah. Um, line 808. This one. This is determines, and you pronounce as determines. So the last syllable should be mens.
Okay, determined.
How to find and fix the causes of your bad habits. In late 2012, I was sitting in an old apartment just a few blocks from Istanbul's most famous street, Istiklal Caddesi. I was in the middle of a 4-day trip to Turkey, and my guide, Mike, was relaxing in a worn-out armchair a few feet away.
Michael wasn't really a guide. He was just a guy from Maine who had been living in Turkey 5 years. They offered to show me around while I was visiting the country, and I looked him up on it. On this, on this particular night, I'd been invited to dinner with him and a handful of his Turkish friends.
Yeah, the third line, the first word is took. You pronounce as look. Yeah, maybe you
Okay.
misread the word, right?
Mm.
There were 7 of us, and I was the only one and who hadn't at some point smoked at least one pack of cigarettes per day. I asked one of the Turks how he got started. Friends, he said, it always starts with your friends. One friend smokes, then you try it.
What was truly fascinating was that half people in the room had managed to quit smoking. I had been smoke-free for a few years at that point, and he swore up and down that he broke the habit because of a book called Alan Carr's Easy Way to Stop Smoking.
It frees you from the mental burden of smoking, he said. It tells you, stop lying to yourself. You know you don't actually want to smoke. You know you don't really enjoy this. It helps you feel like you're not the victim anymore. You start to realize that you don't need to smoke.
I never tried cigarette, but I took a look at the book afterward out of curiosity. The author employs an interesting strategy to help smokers eliminate their cravings. He systematically reframes each cue associated with smoking and gives it a new meaning.
He says things like, you think you are quitting something, but you're not quitting anything because cigarettes do nothing for you. You think smoking is something you need to do to be social, but it isn't. You, you can be social without smoking at all. You think smoking is about relieving stress, but it's not. Smoking does not relieve your nerves. It destroys them.
Over and over, repeat these phrases and others like them. Get it clearly into your mind. He said, you're losing nothing. You're making marvelous, positive gains, not only in health, energy, and money, but also in confidence, self-respect, freedom, and most important of all, the length and quality of your future life.
By the time you get to the end of the book, smoking seems like the most ridiculous thing in the world to do. And if you no longer expect smoking to bring you any benefits, you have no reason to smoke. It is an inversion of the second law of behavior change. Make it unattractive.
Now, I know this idea might sound overly simplistic. Just change your mind and you can quit smoking, but stick with me for a minute.
Where cravings come from. Every habit has a surface level craving and a deeper underlying motive. I often have a craving that goes something like this. I want to eat tacos. If you were to ask me why I want to eat tacos, I wouldn't say because I need food to survive. But the truth is, somewhere deep down, I'm motivated to eat tacos because I have to eat to survive. The underlying motive is to obtain food and water, even if my specific craving is for a taco.
Some of our underlying motives include conserve energy, obtain food and water, find love and reproduce, connect and bond with others, win social acceptance and approval, reduce uncertainty, achieve status and prestige. A craving is just a specific manifestation of a deeper underlying motive. Your brain did not evoke the desire to smoke cigarettes or to check Instagrams or to play video games. At a deep level, you simply want to reduce uncertainty and relieve anxiety, to win social acceptance and approval, or to achieve status.
Look at nearly any product that is habit forming, and you'll see that it does not create a new motivation, but rather latches on the underlying motives of human nature.
Buy love and reproduce equal using Tinder. connect and bond with others equal browsing Facebook. Win social acceptance and approval equal posting on Instagram. Reduce uncertainty equal searching on Google. Achieve status and prestige equal playing video games.
Your habits are modern day solutions to ancient desires, new versions of old vices. The underlying motives behind human behavior remain the same. The specific habits we perform differ based on the period of history.
It's a powerful part. There are many different ways to address the same underlying motive. One person might learn to reduce stress by smoking a cigarette. Another person learns to ease their anxiety by going for a run. Your current habits are not necessarily the best way to solve the problems you face. They are just methods you learn to use. But you associate the solution with the problem you need to solve, you keep coming back to it.
Habits are all about associations. These associations determine whether we predict a habit to be worth repeating or not. As we cover in our discussions of the first law, your brain is continually absorbing information and noticing cues in the environment. Every time you perceive a cue, your habit runs a simulation and makes a prediction about what to do in the next moment.
The last second line and the fourth words is your brain runs a simulation and you for now your habit runs a simulation.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Yeah, your brain.
Q, you notice that the stove is hot. Predictions, if I touch it, I'll get burned, so I should avoid touching it. Q, you see that the traffic light turns green. Predictions, if I step on the gas, I'll make it safely through the intersections and get closer to my destinations. So I should step on the gas. You see a cue, categorize it based on past experience and determines the, the appropriate response.
This all happens in an instant, but it plays a crucial role in your habits because every action is preceded by a prediction. Life feels reactive, but it is actually predictive. All day long, you are making your best guess of how to act given what you have just seen and what has worked for you in the past. You are endlessly predicting what will happen in the next moment.
Our, be- our behavior is heavily dependent on these predictions. So another way, our behavior is heavily dependent on how we interpret the events that happens to us, not necessarily the objective reality of the events themselves. Two people can look at the same cigarette, and one feels the urge of smoke, while the other is repulsed by the smell. The same cue can spark a good habit or bad habits depending on your predictions. The cause of the habits is actually the predictions that precede them.
These predictions lead to feelings, which is how we typically describe a craving, a feeling, a desire, an urge. Feelings and emotions transforms the cues we perceive and the predictions we make into a signal that we can apply. They help explain what we are currently sensing. For instance, whether or not you realize it, you are noticing how warm or cold you feel right now. If the temperature drops by 1 degree, you probably won't do anything. If the temperature drops 10 degrees, however, you will feel cold and put on another layer of clothing. Feeling cold was the signal that prompted you to act. You have been sensing the cues the entire time, but it is only when you predict that you would be better off in a different state that you take action.
A craving is a sense that something is missing. It's a desire to change your internal state. When the temperature falls, when the temperature falls, there's a gap between what your body is currently sensing and what it wants to be sensing. This gap between your current state and your desired state provides a reason to act.
Desire is the difference between where you are now and where you want to be in the future. Even the tiniest action is tinged with the motivation to feel differently than you do in the moment. When you binge it, or light up, or browse social media, what you really want is not a potato chip, or a cigarette, or a bunch of likes. What you really want is to feel different.
Our feelings and emotions help whether to hold steady in our current state or to make a change. They help us decide the best course of action. Neurologists have discovered that when emotions, feeling, and are impaired, we actually lose the ability to make decisions with no signal of what to pursue and what to avoid. As a neuroscientist, Antonio Damasio explains, it's emotion that allows you to mark things as good, bad, or indifferent.
To summarize, the specific cravings you feel and habits you perform are really an attempt to address your fundamental underlying motives. Whenever a habit successfully addresses a motive, you develop a craving to do it again. In time, you learn to predict that checking social media will help you feel loved, or that watching YouTube will allow you to forget your fears. Habits are attractive when we associate them with positive feeling, and we can use this insight to our advantage rather than to our detriment.
Last two lines,
Yeah,
the associate, you pronounce associate.
okay. Associate.
You read until here, right?
Yeah, right.
Mm. Okay. So, make a summary.
Okay. Yep. So, yeah, for today, I think one thing is it says it talk about our craving,
Mm.
and the craving is not that uh, simple. We can look into the deeper one, which the author called it the motive.
The
Yeah, and
underlying
then
motive.
yeah, underlying motives. Yep. So yeah, I think that is the the real reason why we do something. Yeah, and it is so deep that uh, for me personally, I have never realized that uh, I have never realized and I have never been aware of the underlying motives. Yeah, before I read this book. Yep, and then um yeah, so this is one important part, and then for another part is uh it says that whenever we saw a cue, and then our brain actually uh, will make prediction, and then every actions actually comes after our prediction in our brain. Yep, and then the prediction is based on uh, our uh, our past experience. Yeah, and then yeah. However, the this prediction is uh, can be different from people to people. Yeah, so it depends on how we interpret a particular action, and then um, yeah. Lastly, it is about craving, and then this craving, it says actually is our desire to change our internal state, and then it also mentions something like actually what we want is uh, something different.
to
Yeah,
feel the
and
difference.
sorry.
Actually, what we want is to feel the difference.
Yeah, to feel the difference. So there is something like our expectation and also expectation or the desire one, and the reality, the things that we are doing it right now, right?
Mm.
Yep. So this is the craving. So actually, for this last part, I am quite confused. Um, so it means that what we desire and what we actually do at the moment, uh, uh, it doesn't, it is not the same, right? We
The
didn't
desire
meet
and
the desire one,
the desire one and could you say it again?
the desire one and the reality. The reality means the things that we are doing.
Mm.
Yeah, let's say if we want to play a games, we want to win, and then uh, for this one, maybe the underlying motives is I don't know, maybe the feeling of uh, achievement, the sense of achievement, maybe, for example, and then we go to play, and then we win the game. Yeah, and if next time we still have the craving to play games, uh, does it means that last time we played the game, we win it, but the sense of achievement still didn't meet the desired one?
Yeah,
So we need to find we need to feel different.
yeah. I think one of the thing you didn't mention in your summary and is
Mm,
in our reading session is actually the author say that the underlying motive
yeah.
can come from many ways, not necessarily one way. So, for
Okay.
example, let's say to you want to get approval,
Mm,
and let's say like the social
mm,
acceptance,
yeah.
and maybe you go out and you join the community in real life. Maybe it is a guitar community, or maybe it is
Mm,
some other communities. or
Yeah.
maybe it is a charity organization. You help other people, and then when you help other people, they they grateful they
Mm.
grateful it, and then they thanks you, and then they like you, so you get the social acceptance and you get the approval.
Mm.
Mm. But
Yeah.
you also can use other way to achieve the same quote unquote the underlying motive, which is you post some handsome, some beautiful photo,
Mm.
selfish onto Instagram, and then
Yeah.
you receive many like, and then when you saw on that like, and then you and then you get a social acceptance, and then you also get approval.
Mm.
So this
Yeah.
means that the underlying motive is not only come from one way, it can come from many ways. And then it links
Mm.
to the next point you mentioned, which is the
Mm.
predictions. And then you say about the predictions and also uh, the predictions and our realities. And oh sorry, it's a queue, it's a queue and the predictions.
Mm.
So when we saw the queue, then we have the predictions. So
Yeah.
we have the desire, and that predictions, if you look at the the sentence that the underlying motives can come from many ways. So that means the prediction of people is very. So many people may not have the same prediction on something.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
author also gives some example, which is about a secret. And
Mm.
also like I think in last reading sessions, author also give one example, which is two people. One is a gambler,
Mm.
and another one is not. And when the A hear the bell or hear the sound of the gambling machines, something like that, and then he will cripple it. But the second one will just feel it's just a noise.
Mm.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, and just now, uh, your question is what you confuse is about the the predictions. No, you miss the reality, our current
Mm.
stage and our call it expected state. Wait,
Mm.
I check the terms that the author use in these reading sections, which is the in which line? Yeah, current state and your desired state. Okay, so your current state is something
Mm.
like the reality, right?
Ah,
And then
yeah.
your desire state is you want to get the things, is
Mm.
something you desire.
Yeah.
It also means that something you crave for it. And
Mm.
if you link the whole point, the underlying motive can come from many ways.
Yeah.
But because you have already formed the prediction, which is also same as the habits, you have the cue, you have your prediction, which is you predict some things, and then this prediction differ from people to people. For you,
Mm.
when you saw a cigarette, it means that you want to smoke. So
Yeah.
this is the predictions.
Yeah.
This is how you interpret the cue.
Mm.
So when you saw a cigarette, you may start to smoke. Yeah, and then it this is the whole. This is the first two part of the habit loop.
Mm.
So when you see cigarette, you pick up the cigarette and you smoke, and then
Yeah.
your state change. You crave
Mm.
for that. You crave for that, and your desire state is you are smoking, and then your current state is you are not smoking. So you change
Mm.
from your current state to the desired state.
Oh, I
And
see.
mm, and the most important point here is all our actions have one underlying motive behind. So we don't necessarily need to smoke so that we can feel social acceptance, feel
Mm.
like approval. or feel like we are cool, mm, or release our stress. Yeah, in this reading session, the author used relieving the stress on secret example. Mm.
Mm.
So maybe some people will just go out for a run to release their stress, do some exercise or do the meditations.
Mm.
So maybe some people, when they feel stressed, they will like have a few deep breath, have a
Mm.
few deep breath. But for you is to pick up the cigarette and smoke. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it actually links to the core concept of this book, which is we can break a habit. Mm. And
Mm.
then we can change, we can make the craving unattractive, because what we crave for is not the particular things, it's
Mm.
actually the underlying motive behind.
Motives. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. So once we figure out, and then when we understand what we actually want,
Mm.
and then we can start to change our start to change our craving. And
Mm.
the author also mentioned in this reading section is the book help you to quit the smoking. And in the book it didn't tell you a lot of method, it actually just tell you why you want to smoke. Yeah, help you to figure out the reason behind,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
then why smoking is nothing to you, and it just deteriorate your health, and you didn't gain anything from that.
Mm. Yes.
Mm. Okay, so do you have anything to add in?
Yeah, I think after your summary, I have a clearer uh, understanding for the part we are reading today.
Mm.
Um, yeah, really, you make me understand for the part the last part that I raised a question, which is the craving one.
Mm.
Yeah, so it means that if we are not doing that thing, and next time when we saw the queue, uh, we want to do it so that uh, we change from one state which is we are not doing to we do it, right?
Mm.
Mm. Yeah, and also it goes back to the part craving and underlying motives. Yeah, I think yes, this is the main the 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 most important part for today's reading session,
Mm.
which we can uh, deal with this part. We need to be aware of our motives. Yeah, and then like you said, we can choose different things to do, and not necessarily the one that we are doing, especially when it is a bad habit.
Mm.
Yep. So I think you told me before, right, for this part,
Yeah. Yes.
and then for the bad habits, I think we also should uh, figure out what if the motives behind. Yeah, we need to find it out, and then so that we can replace it with another action, another new habit that can fulfill our motives.
Yeah, fulfill the same underlying motive.
Mm, yeah. All right. So I think I have finished my talking.
Mm. Okay, that's all for our today conversations. How do you feel? Did you enjoy the conversations? Please tell us what you think of our conversation. And we are not native speakers. If you found any vocabulary mistakes that we made, please also comment to let us know, because we want to learn more and improve ourselves. Remember to like and subscribe to us. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.